Get your dance moves on today. Gadget God here, and welcome to the next episode of Complete Nintendo 64 Collection. And without further ado, let's just jump on into the new games. Ooh! Got some good stuff. Some really good stuff, including one game that is still sealed. So we have some bundles here. This is a single acquisition. This is a double game bundle, and then this one actually has a really cool story behind it. There's, I believe, 4 games in here, and I asked the person about them, so I'll save these for last because I'm actually really excited to do these. I'm gonna give you all the details about why these are in the certain condition that they are. Let's go ahead and kick it off with this one. Whoa, razor, not talking about shaving. I love when they come in the plastic protective cases. Saves me an extra $1. So here we have Razor Freestyle Scooter, and you may notice there's something a little different about this one. Factory sealed. You can see along the edge. So I'll pull it out of the box for you so we can take a look at it. I am very happy that it comes with this extra protective case. So this is another factory sealed that we got, and we notice this one in particular, Blockbuster exclusive. Yes, there are a handful of Blockbuster exclusive games for the Nintendo 64, which means you could not buy them in stores. You could only get them at Blockbuster, which means you had to either steal the video game after you rented it, just don't return it, or you had to go to one of their sales when they were doing clearance and getting rid of all their video game stock. So I'll show you all the edges of this factory sealed Razor Freestyle Scooter. If you've never heard of Razor Freestyle Scooter, this is actually a game that I played a ton on the PlayStation 1. There's that seam along the bottom. There are a few different factory sealed styles for the N64. Some of the more popular ones are that seam that goes down the very middle of the back, and then also one where it looks like the two halves are coming together to overlap each other. So those are some of the more popular seams, but not every game was sealed in that way. So we have the screenshots here. This game was just like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And when I say just like, I mean the controls were as fluid and precise as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and that's what made this game so fun. They actually used the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater engine on this game. They also used it on a Disney skateboarding game that came out way in the future. I believe it was PlayStation 2. So this game's actually really good. If you don't like Razor Freestyle Scooter, then just think of it like Tony Hawk 2.1 or whatever with a different skin on it. It's a great game. It's actually really fun, and for whatever reason, this game, it's not a common game. It's a relatively hard to find game, but when you do find it, maybe a third of the time it is factory sealed. So my only assumption can be that Blockbuster had a ton of these since it was a Blockbuster exclusive, and it was not a very popular rental because, I mean, let's be honest, Razor Freestyle Scooter, who was racing to Best Buy or Blockbuster to get this game? Not very many people. So a ton of these copies never even made it to the Blockbuster shelves. That's why there's so many of these that are still factory sealed. So I got this one for about a little less than half of the price that you would normally pay for a sealed one. But this is a really fun game. I definitely do recommend it, especially if you like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. And we got it sealed. Sealed life. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this 2 video game bundle. Which one should I do first? I can't even decide. Let's do this one first. Here we have Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. And then I'm gonna open up the second one so we can do them both at the same time. And then the other game, Top Gear Overdrive. So let's do Hot Wheels Turbo Racing first. This is actually a game that I've been hunting for a long time. And that is because I could never find it complete in the box. Every time that I looked for it, it was just a cart. Cart's easy to find, but to get the box and the manual, it's just really uncommon for some reason. Maybe because it's a really good game, I don't know. But as you can see, it's in really good condition. You know how we feel about that. We get crazy. We hug cardboard. Look at that cover. I don't know why, it's just, look at the colors. I'm just grinning. I'm gonna grin my own head off. Electronic Arts. Box is in great shape. Obviously it's a racing game. 2 players only, boo. Show you the screenshots on the back. So a fun arcade racer. Let's take a look at the goodies. You couldn't look at the goodies for Razor Freestyle Scooter because it's factory sealed. We're not breaking the seal. You kidding me? You ain't crazy. At least we ain't that crazy. Got the original cardboard insert, cartridge, looking real nice. And I got this for well below an average price. I did a 2-game bundle, so I was able to get both of them. Oh, got the poster, extra paperwork, manual looking real fine. And it does have these obvious crunches. This is when they try to shut the top or the bottom of the box. It always hits these corners. That's why when you're putting these in, here's the Gadget God's recommendation. Put the extra pieces of paperwork that aren't very valuable on either side, then put this on top with the cartridge. So then when you slip it back in the box, the manuals are on the bottom and they never come into contact with the folding tab. See what I'm saying? So now that they're on the bottom of that, nothing gets in the way of that. That's how you do it. I'm letting you know, but I was hunting this for so long. The box is super uncommon. Manual is pretty uncommon, but to get the whole thing in one package, minty, man, it's not easy to do, let me tell you. Top Gear Overdrive. You saw in a previous video, we got Top Gear Hyperbike, which is a unknown rare, one of the more rare complete in box games for the N64. This game, because it shares the Top Gear franchise, is still uncommon to get complete in the box, but not nearly as hard to get as Top Gear Hyperbike. A little bit of a crunch on the front there. This is from the same person. Little crunch there. Check out this side. Check out that side. A little wear there. But the price that I got this for, it was definitely worth it. It's really hard to get this game in even good condition. So as long as it's in good enough condition that I don't feel like I just bought a piece of trash, I'm really happy to get it. Manual, super mint, super crisp, both sides. Doesn't have any of that crunch damage because you can see they put the manual on the bottom. This person knows. I bet this person was a collector for a while. And then the cartridge, really good shape. I'll just show you the screenshots in the back for Top Gear Overdrive. This was a 2-game bundle that I got from one person. They actually had both of these games in a single auction. So bundle deals will always save you money. Always, every time. Grit your teeth because we got another one. Yeah! And I did just notice that crunch part was a little bit of a rip. No, how could you? So I actually decided what we were going to do, since I did pick up a couple more games from this gentleman here who has the awesome story behind it. I'm going to do that in the next episode because I'm going to open the rest of the games in one big video. So check out the next episode to see that. And instead, no, I'm not ending the video now. We can't end with just 3 pieces of magic. I'm gonna do some bonus ones for you. So I'll do 3 more bonus ones. One is for the Super Nintendo, one's for the Sega Genesis, and one is for the N64. I'll do the N64 one first. Gauntlet Legends. Yes, this is one of my favorite N64 games. It's really, really good. I'm not even joking. It's a really good game. It's got that Gauntlet style, but it's in 3D. You can do 4 players. It's really fun, the arcadey action. Now this is just the box because I already have the cart and the manual. You saw a cart in a previous video, so now I have the whole set. Now I got Gauntlet Legends, and if you didn't know, one of the early prints for Gauntlet Legends has a clear window here, and inside was a figure of the warrior, little pewter figure, and those are like crazy hard to get. So that's what I will shoot for. We'll call that a variation. If I can get that clear window variation of Gauntlet Legends with the figure, you know I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try, but that's really hard to find, like almost invisible. It's so uncommon. And there is another N64 game with a clear window, the Micro Machines game, and that came with different types of cars, but I think one of the most common ones is a white and purple pickup truck. So I do have Micro Machines, you'll see that in a future video, but I don't have the car that came with it. But Gauntlet Legends, man, this game is awesome. This is just the box. Box is minty. Comes in that plastic protective case. You can see no creases, nothing like that. It does have a tiny bit of compression on the front and a tiny bit of compression on the back. That's a good angle to see it. But man, Gauntlet Legends is awesome. Now I have it complete in box. This is one of my favorite N64 games. I highly recommend it. Gauntlet Legends. All right, I said we were going to do a Super Nintendo and a Sega Genesis game. Just got this in a trade. Yes, you are seeing that correctly. Super Mario Kart, the first Mario Kart game, and this is complete in box. I'm trying to remember what I traded for this. I believe what I traded was Bomberman for the Switch and 1-2 Switch. I'll put down right here in the text if it was something different, but I believe that's what I traded for it. See, the box is nice and fresh. I had them send me pictures beforehand. Oh, this game's really fun. If you had a Super Nintendo, it's very, very likely you had this game. And now it is complete in box, super fresh. Let's check out the pieces on the inside. I already have the cart for this, and I've had the cart in manual several times in my day, and I've traded them off for other reasons, but now I'm going to keep it complete in box. I'll put it in a plastic protective case. Got the manual, nicer condition than I ever had it in, and then have the box holder here, and then the cartridge here. Really nice shape for the cartridge. You know, I'm looking for like if it's fake or anything like that. It is a real cart because it has the square above the I in the N64, and there's also the stamped letter on the back. So yes, Super Mario Kart, complete in box. Finally. I'm starting to get into Super Nintendo games as well, just because they're awesome. I actually did not have a Super Nintendo when I was a kid. We got it much later, and one of the early Super Nintendo games that I played when we finally got one was Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, and that was one of my favorite games that I played when we were younger. So we actually had a Sega Genesis, and that's what we had when we were kids, and then much later we got a Super Nintendo, like much later. I'm talking much later. And I got a Sega Genesis game recently. This is one of the most rare Sega Genesis games, certainly one of the most valuable, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Yes, you are seeing that correctly. This is a game we had when we were kids, and it was one of my favorite Sega Genesis games. Another favorite Sega Genesis game is Toe Jam and Earl, Quack Shot, Mickey Mouse and Castle of Illusions. There's a whole ton, Space Harrier. Man, this is my favorite Sega Genesis game. Back in the day, I really liked Michael Jackson's music and his dance moves. And this game was just so great. This was originally an arcade game, and then they completely remade it for the Sega Genesis. It's a completely different game for the Sega Genesis. 1 to 2 players? I don't know if that's true. I've definitely never played 2 players on here, and there's certainly no pictures of 2 players playing. Oh, I just love how you could make them all dance at the end. If you spin Michael around, it lowers your health bar, but then you make him dance and everyone dances with you. Music, this game is so good, but sadly it does not have the instruction manual. But it does have that cartridge looking fresh. This is a pricey game, and I was very patient because I don't want to just kind of burn my money out buying things that are going to sit on my shelf. You know, this is like my memory in a physical form. So I wanted to get it in the best condition I could, and unfortunately to get it for that low price, it did not come with the manual. So I'm still hunting for it. Great. I get to hunt for a manual, but I will get that eventually, hopefully. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, one of the best Sega Genesis games. Really like the Sega Genesis. We had the Sega CD as well when we were kids. So if I do pick up any of these, which believe me, it's going to happen, including Super Nintendo, I'll show these games in future episodes. I'll blend them in here. So really, really happy to have this. Oh my gosh, this game is freaking amazing. So that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this episode of Complete Nintendo 64 Collection and some Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. Oh, we're crazy. Craziest of all. The craziest you've never seen, because you can't see me. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. What are some of your favorite retro games? Do you have a favorite Sega Genesis game or a favorite Super Nintendo game? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know what they are. And if you didn't know already, I'm the Gadget God. I do the research, so you don't have to, Michael. Thanks for watching, everybody. And get your dance moves on today.